Hi, 8th graders, it's Miss Dodd. Today we're going to talk about a little bit about something called specialty maps. So I would like you to take notes on page 7 and title your page Specialty Maps. Our focus question for today is, what can specialty maps teach me about the world? Now, a specialty map is any kind of map that shows us a little bit something extra beyond just a physical representation of what the Earth looks like. I'll show you a bunch of examples so you'll know what I'm talking about in a second. Some skills and strategies for looking at specialty maps. Read the title, subheadings, and all text first. Sometimes underneath specialty maps there's big blocks of text. Read all of it before you ever look at the map. Then read the legend and scan for matching key details on the map. Then reflect and connect. What is the map saying? And most importantly, what does the map imply? It might be a map about climate, but what else is it saying beyond just climate? It's never one factor. Climate can be affected by all kinds of things, like climate change. So keep that in mind as we're looking at these specialty maps today. Okay, the first vocabulary word I'd like you to copy down, population density map. A map showing the number of people per unit of an area. Why do you think that we would want to know how many people live in one area? What could a map like that tell us? Let's look at this map for a second. First, let's read the text. Population density by census block in New Orleans. This is in 2010. And a low density is this very, very light orange color. So it's low all the way out here in the east. But then getting closer and closer into New Orleans, it's very dark. So here in the Marigny, the French Quarter is very dense, and then here in Uptown. What kinds of issues do you think a person might encounter if they live in a highly dense place? This map is a representation of human geography. And I was thinking, if you live in a very populous place, you're more likely to encounter urban crime. You're more likely to encounter lack of food or electrical shortages, food shortages, water shortages, waste disposal issues. So being in a highly concentrated place also affects a bunch of other factors as well. So population density can teach us a lot. An elevation map is a map which shows different heights above sea level. This is a map. First, let's read the title. Coastal Louisiana land surface at elevation. Here, of course, we have New Orleans and Lake Pontchartrain. Let's go down to our legend on the right here. So green is above 30 feet in elevation, and then as it sort of gets lighter green and then into light purple and then dark purple, it gets lower and lower. So lighter purple is 6 to 10 feet, dark purple is 1 to 5 feet, and then 0 or lower. As you can see, New Orleans is 1 to 5 feet above sea level. The thing I wanted to show you about this elevation map that's very interesting is it's actually charting two factors at once. So here you have the dark purple, 1 to 5 feet, and then over here on the left, potential hurricane flooding. So that dark purple is a category 1 to category 2 storm, is something that could flood a place that was at 1 to 5 feet sea level. Now, if you see the lighter purple, it's the next strengthened storm, and so on. So that means that a hurricane at a category 5 can flood all the way up to Baton Rouge, which is about a 21 to 25 feet above sea level. Next specialty map is a climate map. It's a map that shows climate and or precipitation or rain. So here's one. It's comparing two different maps, one from 1961 to 1979 and one from 2080 to 2099. So that's in the future. Let's go down and look at our text first. It says number of days per year, and there's up to 180. Then here it says the number of days per year with peak temperature over 90 degrees Fahrenheit is expected to rise significantly, especially under a higher emissions scenario, as shown in the map above. By the end of the century, projections indicate that North Florida will have more than 165 days, that's nearly 6 months per year, over 90 degrees Fahrenheit, up from roughly 60 days in the 1960s and 1970s. The increase in very hot days will have consequences for human health, drought, and wildfires. Now take a look at that statistic. It's projected to be 165 days a year above 90 degrees Fahrenheit in North Florida, which is on par here with Louisiana. And that's up from only 60 days. So that's almost a 300% increase, almost. So if we look over here, the number of days, 60 is where New Orleans is at, 60 days per year of 90 or above degrees. And then over here, it's moving up towards 165, hot. And this is all because of a higher emissions scenario, which means what? Right, it means climate change, so global warming. Excellent. All right, we're on our final map, a poverty map. This is a kind of specialty map which shows the distribution of people living on or below the poverty line. Here is a poverty map for New Orleans. It might be a little bit tough to see, but it says poverty rate by census block. And what I want you to concentrate here on, it says greater than concentrated poverty. So that means more than 40% of people are living on or below the poverty line in these very dark purple areas. So this area here, St. Claude area, so just like the density map, the population density map, the poverty map can also tell us some pretty interesting things. If you noticed in the density map, all of the places in this map that are high poverty are also high density. So there may be some kind of correlation between the two, meaning that if you have a lot of people living in an area, they're more likely to be poor or have poverty. Let's focus on strategy 3 now for the poverty map. According to this map, which neighborhoods have the highest concentration of poverty? How do you know? And then finally, reflect and connect. Who might use this map? And then why do you think it would be important to have this kind of thing? All right, that's our introduction into specialty maps. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.